The position I'm going to show you now is called the cradle position or the hammock. It works best for newborn babies and up to about 3 to 4 months. Your baby will be lying with its head towards the rings, looking up at your face. Put on your Huggababy with the rings right in front of one shoulder and pull up the lower inner padding so it's positioned across the middle of your stomach for safety. Make sure that the shoulder pad is spread out on your shoulder and across your back, making a little nest for your baby. Now it's time to put your baby in. Pick your baby up and put him or her over the shoulder opposite the rings, up high so its weight rests more on your shoulder than on your arms. Holding your baby's bottom with your right arm and resting the top padding of the sling along your left arm, lift the sling with your left hand to meet your baby's head and neck. Guiding your baby's bottom with your right hand and supporting the neck and hand with your left, gently lower him or her deep into the sling. Notice that your baby's head is actually placed high up in the sling, all the way at the top of the upper padding. It doesn't matter whether the head is resting against the padding as long as it is positioned at the top edge of the sling. Then you lift your baby a little bit while pulling the tail of the sling to adjust it. You want the sling with baby in it to be positioned where it's most comfortable for you. Right about your belly button is usually a good place. In the following sequence, you're going to place your baby in a position with a view. This is a good position when your baby's awake and wants to look around over the edge of the sling. Your baby's head is still close to the rings, but in this position, your baby's lying sideways next to you. It's a good position when your baby starts needing external visual stimulation, usually at around 4 weeks, and it works well until he or she is ready to sit in the hip carry position at around 3.5 months of age. Position your baby on your arm on the same side as the rings. This is actually exactly the same way he or she will be positioned inside the sling. Again, position the lower and inner padding across the middle of your stomach and lower your baby's bottom deep into the sling. Here, your baby's head is also close to the top edge of the sling. Don't let it get too far down. Notice how the top of the head is aligned with the edge of the sling. Lift your baby and pull the tail to adjust the sling, positioning it where it's most comfortable for you. If you want your baby's head a little closer to your body, grasp the tail stitching that connects to the top edge of the sling and tighten it a bit to pull the top padding in so baby's head is resting close to you. Pull on the top outer padding if you want to position him or her further down in the sling. Here you can see how your baby's positioned sideways, and you can grasp the back of the head and neck if you want to adjust the position in the sling. This is a wonderful little nest for your baby. Remember to keep your shoulder pad spread down and across your back, drawing the top of the padding upwards and the bottom edge downwards to distribute the weight of your baby as much as possible. It's easy to adjust your baby's position while he or she is in the sling. For instance, to raise it up a bit. Now your baby has a better view over the edge of the sling. Your baby's lying cross-legged inside the sling. To see the position of the legs, pull down the top padding. As you can see, your baby's sitting like a little king on a throne, legs crossed, feet a little higher than the bottom. If you want your baby to have an even better view, you can turn down the top edge of the padding a bit. Then he or she can really see what's going on. Notice how the lower and innermost padding snugly surrounds your baby's bottom and rests right on your stomach. This is important for safety reasons. When you want to take your baby out of the sling, put the hand on the same side as the rings, sideways into the sling. In the following sequence, you'll place your baby in the nursing or sleeping position. Your baby will be lying on his or her back in the sling, head opposite the rings. This is the most horizontal position, and it works well from 0 to 6 months. Hold your baby in the starting position, over the shoulder opposite the rings. Reach the hand on the same side as the rings into the sling, grasp your baby's bottom, and draw your baby down and into the sling, feet pointing towards the rings. Make sure the inner padding is drawn up around your baby's body. The rings will be positioned high up on your shoulder, as they will descend a bit when you start adjusting the sling. It may be necessary to place your baby's head close to your armpit. Securing the fabric under your armpit, lift your baby a little and then adjust the sling. Now you can raise the head by grasping the tail stitching that connects to the top edge of the sling and tightening it a bit. Now your baby is lying on his or her back in the sling, head pointing away from the rings. You have good eye contact in this position. This is good if you need to breastfeed your baby or when it's time to sleep. Notice how your baby's positioned just below your chest. Also notice that the head is fairly close to the edge of the padding. When you want to take your baby out of this position, you simply place your hands on your baby on the outside of the fabric and lift him or her up to the shoulder opposite the rings. Then you're both back in the starting position. Now you're going to put down a baby that has fallen asleep in the Huggababy. Loosen the sling, lean down over the bed, slip out of the sling, and leave your baby on the sling. The sling can serve as a blanket if you wish. Lift the bottom ring with one hand to loosen the Huggababy while you hold on to the sling with the other. When the sling is loose enough, lean over the bed or pram. Remember that the surface should be elevated to avoid straining your back. Then you simply slip backwards out of the Huggababy and your baby can just lie there and keep on sleeping. If you want to use the Huggababy as a blanket, pull the tail out of the rings to open up the sling completely and tuck the fabric around your baby. Now baby can sleep safely and warmly.